The Cellar is a 2022 horror film written and directed by Brendan Muldowney. This stars Elisha Cuthbert, Eoin Macken, Abby Fitz, and Dylan Fitzmaurice Brady. And the narrative is okay. In terms of what I look for in a horror film, it could have really appealed to me, but it also might not have done. And I will explain maybe what I mean by that with a spoiler warning in a little bit. But in general, I did think it was very intense, very atmospheric. And I'd say I was going to say the first hour and a bit, but actually I'd say pretty much the bulk of the film I really thoroughly enjoyed. But I found the ending to be unsatisfying. However, what I will say, and I read some reviews after watching this. I don't always read reviews before I discuss things, but I thought I would with this one because I was keen to see what people would think. And honestly, there are some people saying the film was boring, but I loved the ending. And there are a lot of people like me saying I loved the film, but didn't care for the ending. So it seems to have really divided people. So if it even slightly sounds like it would appeal to you, I'd say give it a go because it definitely seems to have a very mixed reception. It's about a family who move into this house, this gorgeous property, and strange things start to happen in the cellar, and the daughter goes missing in the cellar, and then other strange things start to happen. To be honest, there's not a lot of progression. There is some mystery revolving around these numbers. We don't really get very far with them for the bulk of the film. There's not really any progression in the narrative. It's kind of the same thing again and again of this mysterious entity or this force or whatever it is. I don't want to give away too much. Getting some strength and control. And then the mother, Keira, manages to regain control of the situation, and then it happens again and again. And it is very slow, but it is very intense. And interestingly, something I've mentioned quite a lot is that I don't like it when horror films are constantly in the dark, because I find that I strain a lot to see what's going on. But even though this is quite often in the dark, I found those scenes to be very, very well done. The incessant counting did get very annoying. It was creepy to begin with, but it just got a bit repetitive. But that aside, I did genuinely find this to be a very atmospheric, very spooky film. And as a seasoned horror fan, it takes a lot to make me feel chills, and it did a really good job of that. I feel the issue, and I know I'm not alone in thinking this, is simply the narrative itself. It's not the most well written. The actions of the characters are not the most believable, mostly the actions of the mother. Also, the father was just irrelevant in this. He may as well have not been in it. And the actual progression of the narrative, as I said, was very slow. Not a lot happened for pretty much the bulk of it. But because it is so intense, I still found that I was really absorbed into that atmosphere, and I really enjoyed the bulk of the experience. The only thing that I think didn't work very well for me is the ending, because it was boring. It was dull and kind of anticlimactic, in my opinion. But as I said, there are people, quite a lot of people, who seem to actually really love the ending, but they didn't like the journey to get there. And I think that that's so fascinating. I can't say it's a 50-50 split. I didn't read enough reviews and I didn't tally everybody's opinions. But in general, it did feel like either people loved the journey but not the destination, or they were bored by the journey but thought maybe the destination was worth it. And I'm definitely in the former category there, but I won't say what happens. Whether or not you like the ending, I'd love to know. I don't know if anybody loves the film in its entirety. There are a couple of 10 out of 10 reviews out there, but there are also some 1 out of 10, so definitely divided a lot of people. Do I recommend it? Yes. If you're looking for an atmospheric film, as long as you don't mind characters who are not the most believable, and I guess either you're going to have a slow journey and a great destination, or a great journey, as I did, and a mediocre destination, it seems like it's very unlikely that you're going to enjoy every aspect of this film. But if that's the case, that's fantastic. I'd love for somebody to thoroughly enjoy it and tell me that they loved it if you go and check it out based on my recommendation. I do recommend it. It's not perfect. It's not going to be for everybody, and I wouldn't watch it again. But I think I have to say, all things considered, I did enjoy watching The Cellar.